Getting started. The possibilities are endless. Hello, my name is Rob James, and I'm the author of the Self-Discovery Techniques. Thank you for your time and attention. On this audio, I want to give you a little background on how the Self-Discovery Techniques came about, as well as inspire you to see the value in making a commitment to learn and practice the techniques in your own life. Curious, and I have spent most of my life seeking answers to questions like these. What is the point of life? What is the source of everything? How does everything work? What makes people tick? Why do people get different results in their lives? How do I get what I want to fulfill my life? The answers to these questions and others drove me to explore many different sources: religions, philosophies, psychology, spiritual teachings, self-empowerment technologies, as well as science. I studied them for years, as well as explored many different styles of meditation, yoga, martial arts firsthand, with the intention of finding the answers to the questions that were driving me. After many years and several thousands of hours of research and exploration, I came to some simple conclusions that are the foundation of my work. The first and most important one was that there is only one source from which all things come, and that it cannot be described by word or thought, but only experienced as our own higher self, that it must be known firsthand as an experience, and by knowing the source directly and connecting to it regularly, we begin to integrate its infinite intelligence, power, and resources for use in our own life. I also realize that by being self-aware, we can begin to manage our consciousness. Our consciousness is defined by the sum total of our beliefs, which is known as our ego identity cell. We can effectively manage our consciousness by first becoming aware of the beliefs that define us, and by then releasing the judgment on the beliefs that limit us from what we want to experience. Next, in order to be successful in our undertakings and our life in general, we must know what our heart's ideals are. What do we want to feel and experience at the highest level of ourselves? By knowing what we value the highest, we can then begin to hold our attention on these ideals and move our life closer toward them. And by moving toward our ideals, we begin to express as our higher nature, our true self. There is a triangle diagram we use in the Life Mastery course and workshop manuals that illustrates the three things that I just mentioned: self-awareness, which is our source; limiting beliefs; and empowering beliefs. By keeping everything we run into in our consciousness and life this simple, we can begin to manage our consciousness, which equates to managing our life and living deliberately. If a person makes managing their own consciousness first priority in their life, they can begin to live an ideal life, a life based on their own ideals. This is a life of happiness, fulfillment, love, self-mastery. I've come to believe that a deliberate life is the only life worth truly living. Most people in our society are living lives of day-to-day survival, even many people that are successful by our society's standards. Most people spend most of their time and attention worried about how to make more money and attain more things, and playing other sophisticated survival games. When a person attains a certain level of self-mastery, or call it enlightenment, they no longer have much concern about these things. They may still enjoy worldly success, but the focus is different. An enlightened person does not need to prove that they are valuable through external actions or their efforts or by any accomplishment. They already feel complete and fulfilled inside, and realize that nothing outside of their self determines their life. When a person evolves beyond survival needs, there becomes a sense of being connected to all beings, and the desire that arises then is a desire to support others, to move beyond their fear, struggle, and suffering. They become focused on serving and supporting the highest good of their fellow beings and making the world a better place to live in. Nothing that I am saying in this audio is a new idea. However, many people are aware of these ideas, but very few are living them as a first-hand realization. It is the goal of myself and the self-discovery trainers to change that. We support the highest good of others by training them in the most direct and effective method possible for their own enlightenment self-mastery. We believe the self-discovery techniques to be that method. One reason we believe the self-discovery techniques are so powerful is that they're all based on our own life experience and the experience of many others. We practice them ourselves to move beyond stress, struggle, and suffering into a life of fulfillment, happiness, and self-mastery. Sure, we still run into challenges. We create them by the very nature of our life purpose of supporting the creation of an enlightened civilization. However, we deliberately create the results that we seek and mold our life and our undertakings to meet our ideals. The people who practice the self-discovery techniques regularly often describe it as like being behind the steering wheel of their life, driving in the direction that they choose. The techniques take you back to yourself, your true self, your own consciousness, where all of our problems arise and all the solutions await us. It is about living a life of self-determinism and self-responsibility and being the master of your own destiny. Although you will experience results with the self-discovery techniques immediately, the real power of them is that they can easily be practiced in everyday activities and integrated right into your daily life. And by practicing them a little every day, you begin to realize that they are simply about realizing the software of your own consciousness. With a little practice, the techniques begin to be how you normally operate. The key word there is normal, because as you integrate them, you realize that states of mind that some would call mystical or expanded become your normal operating state. It begins to feel normal to be present and aware and connected to yourself and peaceful and having a feeling of being truly alive. As you reconnect to a sense of newfound purpose, you feel a passion for life and look forward to taking on challenges. Most people only have moments of this. It seems to come to them sporadically, and they believe that being in the flow or feeling connected to another being or feeling love and peace are special moments that are fleeting and certainly not normal. However, it is something that a person can deliberately create with the self-discovery techniques. More and more people are experiencing these higher states as a normal, everyday, deliberate part of their lives. The self-discovery techniques support a person to reattain, expand, and deepen these abilities. The ability to be self-aware and live in the present moment. The ability to discover and release sabotaging identity patterns and limiting beliefs in order to create desired outcomes. The ability to direct one's attention at will, to make intuitive decisions and act deliberately and get the ideal results. The ability to operate from inspiration and creativity. The ability to create your reality as you prefer it to be. The ability to create a deliberate identity to operate from to experience maximum effectiveness and enjoyment in all areas of life. The ability to operate from the deep stillness of pure awareness as the sovereign source of one's life. The ability to be a powerful contributor to the enlightenment of humanity and to create a better world to live in. The ability to live a life of ever-increasing expansion, love, and creativity. The ability to be a powerful and highly effective human being at whatever you undertake. Let me also tell you what the self-discovery techniques are not about. It is not part of a cult or a religion. They are not the same as other things that you have done. They are not like other things out there. It is not expensive to learn them, nor do you need to commit a lot of time to practicing them unless you want to. The bottom line is this: if living a life by self-design is of interest to you, then practicing the self-discovery techniques will be important to you. People have told us and have written testimonies about results that they have created in their lives, and they range all the way from more loving and intimate relationships, more success in business, more energy and focus, better health, more vitality, and in some cases handling lifelong disease and health issues altogether. Some people have reported handling lifelong phobias and fears and sabotage patterns and things like speech impediments and other issues that they were not able to handle in any other way. The list goes on and on. The reality of it is this: anything that you can imagine and decide to believe, you can create it, once you know how to manage your consciousness. And the real beauty of this is that as your belief and skill grows, your abilities expand, and you can believe in even more amazing possibilities than before. By enlarging your perspective, you can believe in more and more expansive possibilities. This means that the only limit you'll ever have will be the ones that you choose to have. Some of us choose to believe in all possibilities, and those people are leading the way as we move farther into the 21st century. These are the people setting the pattern for the human race by their example. So no matter what your ambition is and what you want to undertake, as long as it is in integrity and supportive of yourself and others, it can be accomplished by practicing the self-discovery techniques and by mastering your own mind. You will master your life and become a living example of joyful success to others in the process. I hope listening to this audio message has inspired you to begin to see more expansive possibilities and to begin taking the next step towards self-mastery. Contemplate these ideas. Why is it important to manage your consciousness? If living your ideal life is important to you, can you see how managing your consciousness and developing self-mastery may be the most important skill you could learn to do? What intention could you create to get you to move further along the path of self-mastery?